for those of you who don't know me, my name is Erin, and I'm a Yin yoga teacher. And for those of you who don't know what Yin yoga is or are new to Yin, it's a more restorative type of yoga. It's all about getting into the deeper lines of the body, getting into the deep fascia, the connective tissue in our body to release pain, trauma, discomfort, and to bring the nervous system into a calm and relaxed state. It allows our body to let go of stress so that we can function in a place of peace and love and joy. So today, we're just going to go through a little 20-minute practice, and what I would really love to do is show you guys what we use for Yin, because in Yin, you might see a Yin practice or have gone to a Yin practice before, and they use a lot of props. We use a lot of props to support the body so that the body can fully open. And you might be thinking in your head, I can't do that at home. I don't have those props. I don't have a bolster. I don't have a block. So I want to spend just a few minutes going over what you might use as a substitute for your props, and then we'll get into our poses. We often use a bolster. And all a bolster really is a comfortable, cushiony support. So if you don't have a bolster and you're wanting to practice Yin at home, you might use a pillow from your bed, or I grabbed, this is one of the couch cushions from my couch. So you might grab something like this. Sometimes it's nice to have one that's a little bit firmer. So if you have something a little bit firmer, or maybe a pillow from your bed, and you might want to grab a couple of them to help stack and support in our poses to find what's most comfortable for your body so that your body can really rest, so your nervous system can really rest. So that might be for your bolster. And then a lot of times we also use blocks in our postures. And if you don't have a block at home, no worries. You might just choose to use a book. So I have a few books here, like this is about the same size as our block, and I have a couple of bigger ones. So you might just grab a stack of a few books around your house and have that next to you, just in case you want some more support during a pose. Also, something that we use in most of our poses is an eye pillow, this weighted little rectangle for our eyes. If you don't have something like this, you might have a sleeping mask at home, and you can just use a sleeping mask to place on the eyes during our poses to let them really rest. So you might use a sleeping mask instead of an eye pillow. And then in general, in class you would use a yoga blanket, but any blanket that you have around the house for support in our poses, you might find that is one that's a little bit stiffer. But if you don't have just any blanket around the house, and maybe even grab a couple of blankets, because in some postures you might use a blanket in the pose to support the body, but then also use it to cover the body if you get a little cool. Anytime in our Yin poses, you're welcome to put a blanket over you, or maybe even have a sweater next to you to put on, because Yin is a cooling practice. So as we downregulate the nervous system, it cools down the body. So you might want that blanket or a comfy sweater to put on during practice. So just making sure that you have some of those things so that you're prepped for class, so that you have all of the things within reach that you might need for your poses, so that we're not getting up, because Yin is all about deregulating the muscles also. It's about allowing your muscles to rest, because getting into that deeper fascia, that deeper connective tissue, we first have to get past the muscle. So we try to really not activate the muscle during practice. So having our props close to us allows us to do that. Also, even if you don't have a mat at home, you can feel free to put a blanket down or put a towel down. If you have a big, really comfy blanket, in Yin you could even use that as a mat if you don't have it. So let's get into a few of our poses, just to show you, give you a little taste of what our full practices are like. So our first pose is always waterfall pose, or legs up the wall. So I'll show you the first variation with a block. So if you have a block at home, your waterfall pose will look like this. So eye pillow close or eye mask close if you have it. And then you're laying down on the back, bringing the feet mat distance apart. Grounding through the feet, you'll lift the hips. You'll bring the block to the lower back. It might be on the highest setting, you might put it on the middle setting or the lowest setting. You choose what feels most comfortable. And during practices, I'll talk to you more about what each of those settings means. So bringing the block on the lower back and then allowing the butt cheeks to hang off the block, you bring the knees towards the chest and flex the feet up towards the sky, tucking the chin towards the chest. Then you'll place the eye pillow or your eye mask on the eyes. You could even just place a blanket here. And then the arms go up above the head, palms facing up, about shoulder distance apart. So the feet are flexed and they're slightly separated. It's just like you're standing upright. It's the same sensation. So if you have a block at home, this is the way that you might choose to begin each of your yin practices. And if you're here, just begin to tune into the breath, to feel those deep, full inhales and exhales. So if you're in your waterfall, feel free to stay there. I'll help you come out of it in a minute. But I want to show you a different variation if you don't have a block at home. So you can't do that expression of waterfall at the beginning of every practice. There's something else called legs up the wall. It's a modified waterfall. And the way that we do this pose is you'll bring your mat, I'm just going to use this so I don't have to move my mat. You'll bring your mat up against the wall. And then you bring your body as close as you can to the wall. You lay down on your side, scooching a little bit closer to the wall, and then send the legs up, coming onto the back. So it's the same position. The feet are slightly separated, the legs are straight, they're supported on the wall, the feet are flexed, just like we're standing. Then if you have that eye pillow or an eye mask, placing it on the eyes. The arms go up above the head, about shoulder distance apart, tucking the chin towards the chest, elongating the back of the neck. Palms are facing up. And then here we come into the deep, full belly breathing. Breathing into the belly first, then filling the lungs. Exhaling from the lungs and emptying the belly. Using your breath to begin to tune into yourself. Using your breath to begin to arrive on your mat and beginning to let go of any stress. So staying here with your legs up the wall. And like I said, waterfall or this legs up the wall variation. Keep those deep breaths. It will always be the beginning of our practice. So whatever your variation you're in, just allowing the full body to relax into it. You might notice some trembling or some shaking or swaying of the body. And this is why we always begin with waterfall, because of the way it downregulates your nervous system. So if you feel any shaking, twitching, trembling, it's just your nervous system releasing stress. It's your body letting go of things that it's held on, that it hasn't processed, that it doesn't need. It's getting rid of negativity. You're creating space in the body for all that is meant for you. So we'll spend just another minute or so here, taking those deep, full breaths. We're changing the direction of our blood flow to allow it to be cleaned and purified and replenished. And in yin, our blood is our chi. It's our life force, our life energy. So we're renewing our life force. Take 3 more full, deep breaths. And then for legs up the wall or your waterfall, you'll begin to slowly bend the knees towards the chest. For legs up the wall, just rolling over to the right side. And in waterfall, bringing your feet opposite sides of the mat. And then for waterfall, lifting the hips, removing the block. And for whatever variation you're in, we'll meet with our feet opposite sides of the mat. And then the knees touch. Bringing the hands by the side, palms facing up. We're letting the spine settle and letting the energy settle. So just a few breaths here, back and center. Then you roll over to the right side, using your left hand to bring you up. Again, try not to engage the muscle as much as possible. So we've done our waterfall, our legs up the wall, and now I'm going to go into butterfly pose. My yoga teacher, Jackie Stanek, always said, if you only have time for 2 poses a day, these are your 2 poses. So one of the poses we just did, one of the variations, and then reclining butterfly, especially for women. This is a beautiful pose. So you'll need your bolster or your couch cushion or your pillow. Experiment and find what feels best for you. And then you're going to bring the soles of the feet together and bring them as close to the body as possible. Bringing the bolster to the lower back to support you. You'll slowly lower the body down, tucking the chin towards the chest, covering the eyes, and then bring the hands by the side, palms facing up. Coming back to the breath. You can leave your hands here, or if you want a little more deep opening across the chest, you might bend the elbows at 90 degrees and bring the arms out at shoulder height. So opening the heart a little bit more, opening the lungs a little bit more, opening up to hope and love and joy. Breathing deeply, allowing all of your muscles to relax and let go. So this pose is also one of the most important poses in yin because of the way it helps to balance our 5 primary organs. And yin yoga is based all around the 5 primary organs. So the kidneys, the lungs, the liver, heart and the spleen. And this pose helps to bring them all into harmony. While still deeply affecting the nervous system, allowing you to let go of stress, anxiety, worry. Take 3 more full, deep breaths. And with your next exhale, first you're going to bring the knees together. You can use the hands to help you if you need to. And then separate the feet a little bit. Make sure the lower back is supported here. And just take a few breaths. Coming back into a more neutral position. When you're ready, we'll roll over to the right side. Use the left hand. Bring you up. So in our practices, we'll hold our poses a little bit longer than that, but I just wanted to give you a bit of a taster today. And then we'll always in our yoga practices end with our Shavasana. And in Yin, we try to get as comfortable as possible. So if you have your bolster or your pillow or your cushion, if you have any tenderness in the lower back, it might feel nice to bring your support prop underneath the knees. Bring the feet wide on the mat. If you have your blanket, you might cover up with your blanket. Get nice and warm and cozy. And then definitely if you have that eye mask or the eye pillow, so lying down the opposite sides of the mat, covering the eyes, hands by the side, palms facing up. Making sure that the lower back is in contact with the floor. If it's not in contact, lift the hips and roll the lower back down. Tucking the chin towards the chest to elongate the vertebrae in the back of the neck. Making sure you're as comfortable as possible. And then bring your awareness to the top of your head. Relax the top of your head. Relax your forehead and your eyes. Relax your cheeks and your jaw. Relax your mouth and your tongue. Relax the neck and the shoulders. Relax the arms, the hands, the fingers. Relax the chest. Relax the torso. Relax the hips and the thighs. Relax the knees and the calves. Relax the ankles, the feet, and the toes. Relax your whole body. Let your whole body go. Taking 2 more deep, full breaths in your Shavasana. Beginning to bring movement back to the body by wiggling the fingers and wiggling the toes. You might stretch the arms overhead and the feet long. Rolling over to the right side. And slowly making your way back up to a comfortable seat. We'll meet with the hands at heart center, bowing and looking within with gratitude. I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is of love, of light, of truth, of peace. When you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we are one. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining for our little taster practice.